Welcome back to a brand new section. In the previous section, we covered how to build extensive mock data, building graphs with D3, and added the remaining components to the dashboard. At this point in time, it's time to start hooking up the backend. This is the 5th of an 8-section course on the mean stack. Over the next 5 videos, we will be discussing how to model your Mongo database with Mongoose, set up routes with Express, hook up the API in Angular, and then add some data full stack. This is the first video in this section, and in this video we will be covering what a Mongoose model definition looks like, what different data types can be modeled, and how to model one-to-many relationships. Let's start with the simplest of all models, the customer. The first thing you'll notice is that there is a require Mongoose at the top. While this concept may be elementary in Node, let's review it quickly. Because this require doesn't start with a path, it's going to look at the Node modules folder for Mongoose. When it finds the Mongoose folder and loads the package.json file and looks for its main property to decide which JavaScript file to execute, it will load that file and execute it. Now, if you're not even sure what a module looks like and how to define one, just keep what I mentioned in the back of your mind and we'll review one later. A Mongoose model is nothing more than a JavaScript object that defines properties or fields and their data types. In the case of the customer, all fields are strings. However, there are clearly other data types available in Mongo, so Mongoose exposes those too. Here we see all of the optional data types. We'll get a chance to use Boolean and number later on as well. Alright. Remember how I said we'd review a module later on? Well, it's time, and we don't even have to switch files. A module in Node is nothing more than a JavaScript file. They're one-to-one. This file, customer.js, is a module. You see that statement there that sets module.exports to the result of the mongoose.model call? If we were to require this file right now with something like require./customer, whatever variable I assigned, that would be an instance of a Mongoose model. Later on, you'll see a module that exports an object with different properties. Looking at this model, we see a few differences. The first is that we are using new types like date, Boolean, and number for the fields. However, we also see something else that's different. We have defined items in an array of objects. This is honestly, to me, where the power of document databases come into play. Instead of building another table to reference the items to sale document, that's basically all there is to modeling in Mongoose. There are some other cool things that can be done like object ID references, but we're not going to cover those in this series. We will use those models later on once we get to the APIs so that we can perform CRUD operations against the database. In this video, you learned how to build a model in Mongoose. In our next video, we are going to be discussing how to set up routes in Express so that data can be manipulated over a RESTful service.